so much for having me here today, and thank you for the opportunity to share with you my own experience, because the story I'm going to share is a very personal one. So, for men in the room, please stay with me, okay? Because we are going to be in my gynae's office, in the consultation room, as you call it here, right? And I'm 5 months pregnant. So please stay with me. As my gynae is doing a scan to see the baby, I see her kind of wondering. And then she says, the baby has a big head. At that moment, I'm thinking to myself, wow, what's that? What does it even mean? Is the baby okay? And as you can imagine, my mind is swirling with all the worst case scenarios. I couldn't see the baby yet, and I didn't know what was happening. So I was full of fear. And then I managed to ask, is the baby okay? And then the gynae says, you know, he is fine. He just has a big head, so it means you will need to push very hard to get him out. Okay, it brought me a little bit of comfort, right? At least I know he's okay. But I'm still quite scared. I was thinking, I went to that gynae because I was thinking he was more or less my age. She looks quite serious at her face, but also warm and kind. And someone recommended me her because they said, you know, she is very supportive of natural, unmedicated childbirth. This was the reason I picked her. So I was thinking, I'm in good hands. But after this incident, I was feeling like I'm going to run away from her office. So the first thing I've done, I've called my mom. And I said, Mom, listen, you know what the doctor said to me? But my little baby boy is going to have a really big head. My mom was very calm. She paused before she said something, and she said to me, Karolina, I gave birth 3 times to you and both of your sisters. You all had big heads, and I had no problem with pushing you out. You know what? We have big heads because we are smart people. This comforted me, and I felt much better about it. And as you see, from like being very scared, I felt much better. But then I met a friend, and my friend told me, Karolina, I gave birth 3 times. And my friend is kind of like bigger, like me, kind of like well-built as well, like not too skinny. And she started talking about her first experience of labor. And then she came into these terrifying things that didn't really work according to the plan. And as she started to talk about the details, like this didn't work as I expected. And then the doctor had to do this, and it really terrified me. At that point, I really feel like fear is coming back again. And it grabbed me by my throat, and it's trying to suffocate me. And I was already 7 months pregnant, so I didn't have much time to dwell on it, right? Because my due date was my deadline, and basically, you cannot really procrastinate with it, right? So I thought, what do I do, what do I do? I was so engulfed by my fear. So I excused myself, and I ran back home. And as I was sitting home, I was trying to call my mom, but she didn't pick up the phone. So I decided, okay, nevertheless, I'm really scared, but I'm going, as planned, for my prenatal yoga. So I went for my yoga, and I talked to my instructor. She saw me being a little bit distressed. And she asked me what's happening. And I told her, you know, I'm really scared. Scared of what? Scared of labor. Because in 2 months, I'm going to give birth to a baby. And she said to me, Karolina, who said that the birth needs to be scary? Who said that the birth needs to be painful? Yet, how many of us do believe that the birth needs to be painful? Please raise your hand if you believe it needs to be painful. How many? Anu? How many believe, but you are too scared to raise your hand right now? Okay, honestly, let's be honest. How many of you think that it must be painful? Why do we believe so? Thank you. Thank you for your support. I like when guys are raising their hands, they are like, yes, we are with you. Why do we believe so? And now I'm looking for your responses. Why do we believe that it must be painful? Yes, what kind of conditioning? Like how we are conditioned? Yes, parents who are telling us that it will be painful. Who else? Say it again. Doctors, absolutely doctors who are telling you, your baby has very big head, it will be hard, right? Or your baby is too big, or it's too small, or it's like your baby is bigger than you are, and all, you know, I've heard all kinds of different stories. So doctors, how many of you watch TV series where they show the scene of giving birth that was kind of relaxing, and the lady was having fun and she was super excited? All the movies that we've watched ever, they have these ladies screaming like, oh, I'm giving birth, right? So for most of us, when we think of it, if you had your children already, you know that the phase when you are about to go into labor, it's really terrifying. But the question that my yoga instructor asked me that day, it kind of opened up another possibility. I asked her, how do you know, since you have no kids? How do you know? And she said to me, Karolina, I do know women who gave birth in a much gentler way. They didn't really feel so much pain. They were super excited. They just welcomed their baby to the world. They didn't take any painkillers. They didn't need to go to C-section. Things worked for them. Their babies, maybe they had big heads, but everything worked just fine. So at that point, I understood one super important lesson that I'm going to share with you. Are you ready? Okay, fear is nothing else than a story that we tell ourselves. Fear is nothing else, it's a story. What kind of story do you tell yourself that makes you terrified? Scary stories, right? So for fear, you tell yourself a scary story. What if you could flip that story and ask yourself a more exciting story? If you watch a horror movie, you are going to be scared, right? If on the other hand, you are watching a comedy, what is going to happen as a result? You are going to laugh. So at that point, I realized, okay, I'm going to flip that story. My doctor told me, I left her afterwards, but she told me it's going to be hard and painful and scary. I changed the doctor, and I changed my story as well. I actually looked for women who gave birth in a much happier way, who didn't have pain, who didn't really take any medications, and who were excited about going into labor. But this is not the point of my talk today. The thing that I learned, I share with you already. And then I work with fear even more, and I prepared something that I use until today. Every time I want to overcome my fear, I work with something that I call, how do you turn your fear into fire? Because fear, as we all know, it's paralyzing. Fire is empowering. Fear will hold you back, while fire will propel you forward. So, I have very easy 4-step formula for you. How do you overcome your fear and turn it into fire? Are you ready? Yes? Who is ready? Lift your hand if you are ready. Okay, all right. So 99% of people, if you are not ready, you need to leave now. Okay, I'm joking. Of course you can stay. I know you are probably too scared. Don't worry. After my formula, you will be fearless. So the step number 1 when working with fear, I already mentioned that it's a story in your head. But very important thing that we sometimes don't do, but we should do, is, anyone knows? Firstly, absolutely, you need to face your fear. You kind of hold a mirror and you ask yourself, how do I feel? Because if you ignore your fear, it's like brushing the rubbish under the carpet, right? The rubbish is still there, the rubbish is still under the carpet, but it looks clean. So ignoring fear is a little bit like that. You didn't acknowledge it. So you need to ask yourself, how do I feel? Am I scared? If you ask yourself that question and you name that feeling, then you are in control already. And if it helps, and quite often it does, you ask yourself, what the worst stories I imagined in relation to this? What are the worst stories in my head? Because there's one thing that I learned that is very, very important in getting in control of your fear. And it is this. From the evolution, our mind is there to protect us. Because many years ago, as we were living in the jungle, we needed to escape wild animals like lions, right? So it was better for our mind to overreact to, for example, something in the bush than to ignore the danger. So I will repeat because this is very important. It was better for our mind to overreact to something small than ignore a real danger. Guess what? Our mind, right now we don't live in the jungle anymore, but our mind do the same. Our mind quite often overreacts to something that is not really a danger. So our mind is there to protect us. So please ask yourself, what are the worst stories I imagined? And be aware of them, right? So face your feelings is the step number 1. Are you ready for the second step? Okay, yes? Everyone? Okay, fantastic. So the second step, because we go into fire, right? And fire is acronym. So the first step with F, face your feelings. The second step is I. I stands for imagine victory. Imagine victory. Why? Because so far you've used your mind to see all the worst case scenarios. It's like you show to your mind a horror stories. Why wouldn't you now to see all the best things that can happen as a result of what you are going to do? So, for example, ask yourself, what's the best that can happen as a result of me taking the action? If you are really scared of public speaking and you would like to take part in Up Your Game next time, ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? And then flip that question, what's the best that could happen for me as a result of me speaking at Up Your Game? And then you will see that maybe you will empower yourself to take that step, raise your hand, and come here the next time. Okay, so step number 2, what's that? Anyone remembers? What do you need to imagine? Victory, absolutely. Imagine victory. So now you have a success story. You know where you are going and what's the best that could happen as a result. Okay, now step number 3 starts with R. R. It's about relax your, who knows? Relax your body, okay? So this is something, a quick exercise that I would love you to do. If you can stand up, please. This will be very quick, I promise. So everyone stand up. And imagine first that you are a little bit scared. If you are scared, your body is tense, you are feeling kind of uneasy. And some of you might feel that way still because you don't know so many people here, right? So this is what we'll do. So imagine that fear is still in your body. And now, how you deal with it, you shake. So firstly, let's shake our hands, okay? Shake properly, shake, 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 so that it goes away. And now you take your hands and you rub all the fear and uncertainty you have and you do a ball out of it. Create a ball, nice rounded ball, right? And now you take that ball and you push it away from yourself. You take that ball, but don't push it to the person next to you. Maybe you push, yes, maybe you push it to the sky. So that the ball is far away. Okay, and now all that stress, all the tension, you kick it in the butt, okay? Just kick it. Firstly, one leg, you kick it. And the other leg, all the worries you have, you kick it. Okay, thank you everyone. Give yourself a clap. So this is number 3. It's important to do because if you are very tense, you won't be at your best. Whatever the task is, whatever you are aiming to do, if you are very tense, you won't be as great as you can be. So you need to release the pressure from the body because we all know that if we are very scared, we can feel it at the physical level, right? We are sweaty, we are shaking, and so on. So shake, 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 shake it, baby, and then let's go to the 4th step. So 4th step is something that I found is contagious. Anyone knows what is contagious? Laughter, absolutely. Yes, it fits. What else is contagious? Enthusiasm, absolutely, the energy you bring, right? So for the step number 4, to create a fire, we need to elevate our mood. We need to bring the best mood we can to any situation. If you bring your best energy and you bring your best mood, what are the chances that you will succeed, right? We, as human beings, we are empathetic. It means that if someone is in great mood, and you can observe it easily at work or in a family. If, for example, Sarah, your wife is in a bad mood, right? It impacts you. If your partner or husband is in a great mood, of course, everyone feels better. Now, I have this 3-year-old at home. 3-year-old, it means that she has loads of tantrums. Every time she has a tantrum, can everyone else around be happy and positive and, oh, that's great? Or it impacts everyone else, including my husband, who is usually a very chilled out guy. But I've seen him losing his temper because of the tantrums of a 3-year-old. So it's very important that you bring your best energy to anything that you are attempting to do. And this will provide you, will it guarantee that you will succeed? No, it won't guarantee, but it will provide you with the best chances for success. So there's no guarantees, but you are increasing your chance. All right, so we have 4 steps. Do we remember them? Number 1, face your feelings, right. Number 2, I. Imagine. Exactly, imagine victory. Step number 3, relax your body. And step number 4, elevate your mood. And if you use all these 4 steps, I guarantee that you will overcome fear and you will bring the best energy that I call fire to anything that you are trying to do. Let me leave you with one of my favorite quotes when it comes to fear. Fear is not the lack. Sorry. Fear? No. It's the, yes, courage. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you. You see, I brought my angel here so she can, just in case I will get it wrong, someone tells me to my eye what it should be. So my favorite quote is this. Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the realization that something else is more important than one's fear. So my challenge to you today is, what is one thing that is so important to you that you will step out there, forget all about your fear, and do it? What is this one thing so important to you that you will find the courage to do? Thank you.